Hello everybody, and I will be talking to you the kind of preview review of Darksiders 2. I'm having a problem with my footage, and this was recorded some time ago, so I wasn't able to get the footage initially, and the footage I did get is not working out right, and I felt I should get this review out to you, and if I can get the footage later on, I'll give you a full in-depth review. This is just my review preview musings on Darksiders 2. And Darksiders 2 is a dungeon crawling game developed by Vigil Games, published by THQ. And I'm going to preference this immediately. If you like the previous Darksiders, you will like this game. If you like Zelda, you will like this game. If you like Zelda with a dark tone, you will like this game. This game pretty much is taking on the next Horseman of the Apocalypse, and that is Death. And the basic premise of this game is you are Death, and you are trying to prove that war from the first game did not cause the apocalypse. You will be hopping around these places. I believe they're called Nether Realms, and your job is to clear his name, go through all these actually beautifully articulated worlds. Even though it's a cartoony flair to them, it is a very, very beautiful art style that you can definitely tell it's comic book inspired, but it's very well done. And the premise of this whole series, you're trying to clear the war's name that he didn't cause the apocalypse, as I said before. And the whole premise is that this is the time period where he was imprisoned from the first one, I believe. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. And honestly, they are doing good with their characterization. I forgot who they have the voice actor for Death, but he fits the part. And this is pretty much the tropes of Zelda or any dungeon-like-esque thingamabob that you run around in, is that you're going from place to place, and each world that you go through is beautifully detailed and beautifully rendered. Excuse me, sorry. It may occasionally seem boring from people who are used to this style of game, like, oh, we've always done this, but this is kind of like a Zelda-esque dungeon crawler-like game. This is the same mechanics you will always be doing. And as I said before, you like this style of game, you will like this game. And it is something that I have to say is quite enjoyable. I'm not always into the dark aesthetic, but it is really not fun, but it's really nice and enjoyable to see and play through. And for each dungeon, you're going to have your typical puzzles that are going to be in there. They're pretty much your mind teasers. They're not that bad. They're not that crazy. There's nothing crazy like anything in God of War. It's pretty basic, but there's no problem with it. And each dungeon, after you go through, there's going to be a boss you're going to have to kill and defeat. And you know what? It's not bad. I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised with this game that it is very good. The combat from the previous Darksiders is pretty much you got your heavy, light, ranged attacks. You do it's kind of what before, as I was saying before, but it's still as refined as it was before, enjoyable and fun. They've added a few new little things there. I believe it is loot and such like that, and they were trying to go for a different thing, having loot pop up in there. And you know what? I'm back and forth on this. Like, it sometimes seems like a good idea, sometimes it doesn't. And you know what? I don't know what to actually say about that, but the loot that they have in there doesn't seem particularly the best suited for this game, but it's still not bad. You're going to be going through trying to see what boots are shoulder pieces and weapons to up. Just pretty much you're going to be going through every single time you kill an enemy and whatnot. Does this guy have any better loot than I have and whatnot? It is kind of annoying and frustrating, but a minor annoyance that it does take a little away from, but not enough to make you say, "Oh, this game's a piece of crap." It just is more of a head scratcher why they put in where the first style of upgrading seems so pretty well and well fit for the game. This just seems like a tack on because they were thinking that this might work, this might resonate more with the community that's playing it. But I will say. Yeah, sorry about that. But I'll say again that the art style, how it looks, how it runs, she is beautiful. This is like a comic book come to life. And it's something you cannot ignore. The sound design, it makes you... Man, I'm going to burp again, sorry. It really makes you feel like you are in this game, in this world. She looks beautiful. The art design, the draw distances seem just beautiful. And each one, even though it's cartoony or comic book-esque, it makes you feel and desire you want to explore this world that's there. And even though that occasionally that there are loading times in there, I don't really notice the loading times. They popped up once or twice, but I have to feel that those are just few and far in between. I mean, there's not like Fallout where you're gonna be, oh gosh, set the door. It was like maybe a hair bit, like a blip on the screen. And the voice acting, even as side characters, were very good. They seemed alive and believable, where you were like, ooh, this is great. Oh my goodness, this delivery is just exquisite. And I also have to say the Comet is as responsive and as not realistic, but is visceral feeling that when you're using your weapons, mace, whatever weapons you pick up. I wanted to say mace, but it usually uses size. You know what I'm trying to say, people. They do feel real. They feel like each hit has weight to them, and as a whole, you have brutal finishing moves that really fit and feel with the character. And I have to say is that I'll say this game, you heard beforehand, it's a must-buy for those of the family. But this is a fun game. It is exquisitely well done. Some people say, oh, it's predictable, same tropes that it uses for all the style of game. But you know what? Sometimes that is a very good thing to use to make sure that it follows a certain line where people are expecting just enough, and it's just your style and substance that you put in there that makes a difference. Not even though it may follow the same basic building blocks and steps. At its core, it's similar like any other Zelda-esque game, but those core steps make it extremely good because they build upon that idea with very good combat, beautiful art design, exquisite sound that makes you feel that this comic book is brought to life. These characters that are in this world seem real and believable, and this is definitely not just a must-buy for fans of the series and us and other people who like this style of gameplay. I also feel this game should be you should take this look at this game mainly because this is being done by THQ, which is a publisher that knows great games. They know great games. They put out the Saints Row series. I was going to say Saints Row 2, but the Saints Row series, and we should support these guys because these guys need our support more than anything else. And I'd like to say, everyone, thank you for listening to my review, and good night.